Welcome. This is Mrs. Frank, and I am making this recording for Excelsior classes. Today, I'd like to share with you an amazing moment in American history. I'd like to talk to you about the rise of English sea power. So it all starts out with Elizabeth I and Philip II. Now, Columbus had discovered the New World, and a whole slew of conquistadors had followed behind him. And Spain was the undisputed leader of the high seas. And when Elizabeth came to the throne, she's going to challenge this position. It didn't hurt that her sister Mary had been married to Philip II before she passed away, and that he was making some noise about being the rightful heir to the English throne through his marriage to Mary, that it was really supposed to be him who was the king of Spain and not the slip of a girl, Elizabeth, who has taken the throne. So Spain had been bringing back across the Atlantic Ocean ships full of treasure from the New World. Elizabeth's first step is going to be to steal the gold from these ships. She doesn't have the navy she needs to do this. She hires privateers, pirates that work for the government, to attack and loot the ships of Spain. They attack some of these while they're in port in the New World, and others as they cross the Atlantic Ocean. But they were really starting to get the Spanish mad. The best of these sea dogs, which is what these English pirates were called, was Sir Francis Drake. Sir Francis Drake was called El Drac in Spanish, which means the dragon. And in 1577, he is going to lead a group of English ships, 5 of them with 150 men, to attack the Spanish in the Pacific. In order to do this, he has to get through the Straits of Magellan, which is not an easy feat. They had several setbacks, some ships that had to go back to England. There was a trial for mutiny, witchcraft, and treason of his co-commander, Thomas Doherty. And he ended up executing Doherty because he's found guilty for those charges. Drake does finally round the Straits of Magellan in September of 1578. The storms are going to be strong, and it will destroy one ship and send another back to England, which leaves one ship. It was called the Pelican, but it has now been renamed the Golden Hind, to travel the rest of the way. They're going to go up the coast of South America, pirating and pillaging along the way. In June of 1579, they will claim what is now California for Great Britain. They will call it Nova Avion, or New Britain. From California, Drake and his men will sail west, making several stops along the way to resupply and pirate. They will sail around the Cape of Good Hope, reach Sierra Leone in July of 1580, and on September 26th, 1580, Drake, his 59 remaining crewmen, and the Golden Hind will sail into Plymouth, England. They have cargoes full of spices and treasures. Drake will be the first Englishman to circumnavigate the globe. Yes, I know Ferdinand Magellan gets the credit, but he and the 40 members of his crew are killed, or 40 members of his crew are killed in the Philippines when they have a confrontation with the natives there. So it's really Captain Juan Sebastian de Carno and the 17 surviving crew members that should get the credit for circumnavigating the globe. So Drake will be the second to lead such an adventure and the only one to return, and he will be a national hero for the people of England. Philip's not done yet. He is still ready to put England in her place. He is mad at the slip of the girl who stole his throne and her pirates, which is taking his treasure. Oh yeah, and England is also supporting Dutch rebels in the Netherlands. The Netherlands was controlled by Spain at this time. In 1588, Pope Sixtus V gave his blessing to the plan called the Enterprise of England. Philip planned to invade the island nation, conquer her, and force her back into union with the Catholic Church. For those of you who don't know, during Henry VIII's reign, England had broken away from the Catholic Church and created its own Church of England with the monarch of England as the head. Excuse me. Philip began compiling an invasion fleet of 130 ships, of 8,000 seamen, and 19,000 soldiers. And he had plans to pick up 30,000 more soldiers on the way to England at Flanders for his invasion. He starts off on May 19th. They will leave Spain. There are going to be some storms that are going to delay the travel of the Armada, and they are not going to actually get to the English Channel by July 18th. Now, by this time, England is ready and prepared for the incoming invasion. July 21st, the English Navy begins bombarding the Armada, which is a 7-mile long flotilla of ships with long-range guns. And they thin out the Armada and continue to advance over the next few days. And the English attack with the long guns prevents the Armada from being able to stop in Flanders and pick up those additional troops. On July 28th, the English will send burning ships into the harbor at Calais, where the Armada is anchored. The Spanish ships, which are made out of wood, have to cut anchor and sail away to avoid catching on fire themselves. And now we have a panicked, disorganized fleet that is no longer in formation. The English have smaller, more maneuverable ships and are able to weave in and out of what's left of the Armada. The weather also seemed to be on the side of the English as well. The English Channel is normally calm, and it was besieged with rough seas and high winds during this battle. The Armada is cut off and unable to return to Spain, what's left of it. And so they are going to be forced into the North Sea. So here is, here's Calais. This is where the battle takes place. The Armada is going to be cut off and not be able to return to Spain. So they're going to have to go all the way around Britain and Ireland. They were not prepared for this journey. They didn't have enough supplies, fresh water, food to take this detour. There are going to be some other rough seas, and they're going to lose a few more ships as they travel. But they are going to finally make it back to Spain the long way in October with fewer than 60 ships from the 130. More than 20,000 Spaniards had lost their lives in the attack. The English lost less than 100 men. They lost no ships in the attack other than the ships that they set on fire themselves. That doesn't really count. Many of the Armada ships had turned back to Spain, so they were not counted in the lost ships, but there were 67 ships that were actually sunk. Queen Elizabeth's Navy was led by Charles Howard and Sir Francis Drake. They had put an end to Spain's reign on the high seas. They had secured Elizabeth's place on the throne of England, and they had secured freedom for the Dutch Republic, a fact that the Pilgrims are going to appreciate in a few years when they are looking for a place to move to worship freely, and they first end up going to the Netherlands before coming to Plymouth. This is also going to be the first major naval gun battle in the history of the world, which is pretty cool as well. In case you didn't know, Queen Elizabeth was eating roast goose when she heard the news of the victory. She decreed that the people of England should commemorate the victory over the Armada by having roast goose for Christmas that year. And thus the tradition is born, where in England, roast goose is the entree of choice for Christmas dinner. I hope you enjoyed learning. Oh, wait. So what does the defeat of the Spanish Armada by the English have to do with America? That is what someone is asking, because this is an amazing moment in American history. And I got to tell you, if it hadn't been for the fact that the Spanish Armada was defeated and that England was able to secure its place in the world, we would not have been able to settle Jamestown or Plymouth or any of the other English colonies that followed. What we now know as America would probably be Spanish speaking. And therefore, had the Armada not been defeated, America would not be America today. I hope you enjoyed this story from American history. If you would like to hear more, or if you're interested in online classes, you can check me out at excelsiorclasses.com. Have a great day.